for those of you that have rented a reformer, I'm going to go through some of the basic repertoire so you can continue practicing at home. It'll be the same as your homework sheets that I've emailed to you. So just remember, you always want your straps adjusted. So I do adjust the long straps over the shoulder pads and tighten at the little drawstring. Your headpieces can go up and down. And when you're adjusting for different heights, you pull the back plugs and then you draw the bar down and then back up. So a standard level is, it does say a standard level is 5. Most of you will be at a 4. If you're taller than me, you'll be down lower. For those abundant tall clients, you'll be at a level 1. Just make sure you hear it lock in and give it a little shake. You do have this the bar that goes up and down out of your way. The standard setting is the red medium. So we're going to start with some seated footwork. So I'm going to bring it to one green and yellow. And I will be sitting on the foot bar. So this is really good for your postural awareness. You do want your sit bones probably just in front of the bar. If they go behind the bar, it feels like you're going to fall off. So from here, sitting on the bar, posture, leg alignment, core control. Option to hold on, then we go in and out. You can add some arm choreography if you like, that's optional, or you can just focus on your balance and work on your leg strength and alignment. So we're going heels parallel, then we're going to go to toes or balls of the feet. You can also go into your Pilates V. We then move over. You may have to take a spring off, so I'm now onto one green, and I'm going to go heel on the bar and focus on single leg work, still posture alignment, alignment of the leg, and now I'm also focusing on the VMO, the activation through my quad, but the inside portion of the quad near the knee. And from there. So I am going to run through these quite quick. I'm not going to do a full session for you. Now we're going to move on to footwork lying on your back. So I'd say most of you would be 2 green and a blue, or even more. So you might go 3 green. From here, when you lie down, it's up to you if you want your headpiece up. If your neck is feeling strained, then I would bring it up. We're starting heels on the bar. So we go exhale as you push out, inhale as you come back in. Can you maintain that neutral spine? Can you maintain that leg alignment? So we've got heels, then toes, then into Pilates V, heels wide, toes wide, back to toes parallel, and then from here you have your double calf raises up and down, and then you're walking in place. To finish off with, we'll go into our single leg work, so one leg in tabletop as you go in and out. If you can keep it on that same spring tension, great. If not, go lighter. Alright, from here, moving on into our bridging. So the headpiece will stay down. From here, start by keeping the bed completely still. So you, at least 2 green, and then go lighter. So the lighter you go, the more challenging it is to control the bed. So from here, take a breath in. Exhale as you curl the pelvis. Start to roll the spine up. Check that your pelvis is nice and level. Take a breath in, and then exhale as you roll down. So you want to start by keeping the bed still in the initial phase. Now, if the rolling for some reason isn't agreeing with your back, just stay in neutral and lift straight up, straight down. All right, progressing from there, you would curl up. You can stay here. You can add your leg extensions as you push out, come back in, and then roll down. Adding on again, we can do a single leg lift. So you could roll up, stay here, float one leg, float the other leg, and then roll back down. And your final progression, if you like, would be to start in tabletop and to come up with one leg, keeping that pelvis level though, and then rolling it back down. All right, I do have a little cheat sheet in case I miss anything for you. The light, as I said, the lighter the springs is harder on that one. Moving on to semicircle. So semicircle, I always put the middle green spring on, and I do put the headpiece up so it gets out of the way at the end, otherwise it tends to hit the end if it's down. So semicircle is the wave action, and it's a bigger version of bridging. So you start down, you'll come up into a bridge and you'll push yourself out. If you're in a singlet, it is hard to slide there. All right, from here, we push out, we roll the spine down, touch the spring, ride the spring in, then curl as you roll all the way up. So you go out, try and roll the spine down there, and then back up. Now we can also reverse the direction by rolling down, pressing out, hinge up, and then pull yourself back in, and then roll through it again. And then to come out of it, you wiggle your way back up until you are resting back down. All right, moving on into jumping. Now, jumping, start with at least one green spring, headpiece up for this again, just so you don't hit anything at the end. And because the straps get quite noisy, I just tend to throw them off behind you. You don't have your jump board, so your surface is going to be smaller. If your ankles, if you're not comfortable, please don't do this exercise because it is a small surface to land on. So we're starting lying on your back. I do take my hands behind my head, especially when I'm only using the bar. So that way I'm in a chest lift. I'm going to get more core work, but I can also see then where I'm going to land. My feet are on the bar. Start by pressing out just for one. Come back in, and now you can go. So I want to see nice soft landing, not thudding. So then I can do double legs. I can do single leg. If you feel comfortable, stay doing single leg on the same side, or otherwise you can progress to alternating leg. Now, if I take the springs lighter, the lighter the spring is more core control, the heavier the spring is more leg strength. So choose what you want to focus on. You can do your double variations and add the little crisscross in. All right, so from here we're going to progress into feet in straps. I would probably go a blue and a green, and then heavier, so either two greens if you wish. You can keep your headpiece up and grab your straps. All right, so when we're lying down, feet into the big straps. Please do one at a time, is always the safest. So go one foot in, push away, then bring the other foot in. And from here, as long as you can keep your neutral spine, so ribs and pelvis connected, soft curve in the lower back, hands down by your side. Now from here, remember I'm flexible, so some of you may not be able to come that high. That would be my starting range. So exhale as you press it down to your range that you can go without arching through your lower back. And then inhale as you come back up. So we're doing lift and lowers. Exhale as you go down. And then inhale as you come back up. You can do it in parallel or you can do it in a turnout position. So after lift and lowers, we're going to take it into circles. So the size of your circle is determined by how much control you have in your pelvis. And then we reverse the direction. Now we're going to pause and go into small frogs or frog press. So keep the heels together in a Pilates V. You're going to bend the knees into about a 90-degree angle, and then you exhale, press back out. Inhale as you come in, exhale as you press out. So that's your small frogs. Your big frogs will now progress. So you come into 90, the heels separate, the legs straighten as you sweep down and in. You come in, you come apart, bed stays still there, straighten the knees, bed is still staying still. Now the bed moves as you press down and in. You can also reverse that, so you'd come apart. Now the bed stays still as you fold the knees, bed stays still as you bring the heels together, then you press back out. So you can do both directions here. We can now take it into walking on the ceiling. So walking on the ceiling, try to keep your legs parallel, all right? So from here, one knee will bend as one leg straightens. You press them both back out to a 45-degree angle, and then the opposite knee bends. So I'm trying to keep my legs in a parallel alignment, trying to keep even tension on the straps, even tension on both sides of my pelvis. Now go into a Pilates V, and this is where you go to Peter Pan. So very similar, except Peter Pan is in external rotation. So one leg will open out to the side as the opposite knee bends. Then you press both heels back towards the center, and then bend the opposite knee. Again, the pelvis needs to stay even. And the tension needs to remain on both straps. All right, so from here I'm going to take it into short spine. The head must be flat for this one. So I always just give myself a little bit of room in case that my shoulders are getting squished. You can stay in the long straps. However, if you feel you need more assistance, change to the short straps. The short straps will help you. All right, so we're going to inhale as the legs come up. Exhale as we roll over into an inverted position. Bend the knees. Keep the heels relatively close to the bum as you roll the spine down with control, and then press out to a 45-degree angle. So once again, inhale as you come up. Now try and keep your bum down for as long as you can to challenge your hamstrings there. Now use your core as you roll up and over. Pressure is on the shoulders, not the neck. We bend the knees, and now you roll the spine down as you press out. And that's your short spine done from there. So we're going to come out 1 foot at a time. Foot to the bar. Hook the straps up. Alright. So from here we'll take it into some abdominal work. Moving probably back down to one green spring now. So grabbing the short straps, the hand straps. Starting with the hands reaching vertical towards the ceiling, the legs come up into tabletop. We're going to start just with some arm work first, so supine arm series is exhale, press the arms down. Inhale as you come back up. And exhale, press down. Now be mindful, that your shoulder's not rounding forward. Try and keep broad across the front of the chest. So we have up and down or flexion, extension. Hold here, turn the palms in to face the body. Inhale as you open out to the side, and then exhale, press back. Inhale to open, exhale to press. Then we'll go into our triceps. So we press back, turn the palms down, keep the elbows hovering, bend the elbows, straighten the elbows. From here, let's take it into cheerleader. So both arms remain straight. One goes to the side, one to the ceiling. Press back to the hips, and then to the other side. You need to maintain tension on both straps at all times. And let's finish off with circles. So with circles, we can go down, open out to the side, come back around, and then down. And of course, we can always reverse the circles. And that's your supine arm series. Now from here, we'll go into your abdominal series. So we'll once again start with the legs in tabletop. We begin with our chest lift. So we're going to exhale, press and curl, and then back down. So make sure the legs don't move. The arms initiate, the head curls. Now the ribs are gliding down as you're engaging through your abdominals, but your lower back shouldn't be completely flat. My shoulder blades are just clearing the bed, and then back down. And you can now progress by one leg extending, the opposite leg extending, and then you have both legs extending. From here, you can take it into your hundreds. So remember, it's an endurance exercise as well as a breath and core exercise. So you want to inhale for 5 counts, exhale for 5 counts. Try and keep the bed relatively still. So from here, we come into a chest lift. You can keep your legs in tabletop and start from here. So it would be inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could extend one leg. You could extend both legs. You can lower them down as long as you can keep a neutral spine. So you do that for your 100 counts. The other option that we've previously done is you would put your feet in the big straps, and that you can hold your feet in the straps and continue your hundreds from here. So your option, this will help your hip flexors and your lower back a little bit more to have your feet in the straps. Let's move on to some arm work now. So we're going to do kneeling arms facing the front, which this is the front, so the foot bar is the front. We'll go with a blue, one blue. So I start in a low kneeling position. If you don't like any of the kneeling exercises, you've got your long box. Pop your box on the machine and just sit on top of the box. Now you can either stay in low kneeling or you can come up to high kneeling, but high kneeling does require more core control so that you don't fall over. So let's start with shoulder flexion or straight arm press. So from here, we exhale, come forward and up. So just to about armpit height, you don't need to go any higher. Then we move on to serving. So we're going to bend the elbows and exhale as you come forward and up. From here, we're going to take it into hugger treat. So we're going to bring the arms together, soft elbow bend. We inhale to open, exhale to close. We take the hands now over the shoulders, hands to the forehead, fingertips together, and it's our tricep press. And then you carefully bend the knees as you sit back down. Lovely. Hook your big straps up. We are now going to turn and do arms facing backwards. So you probably want more spring, so at least a green for this one. Guys, you might want to even go more. So we're doing more back work, so you will be stronger through your back. I always like a fist width gap between the knees and the shoulder pads. If you rely on the shoulder pads, then you're not going to use your core. Grab your little straps again. All right. So we start with straight arm press back or shoulder extension. So from here, you exhale, press back. So exhale to press. Inhale, carefully release. We now can go into crossover row. So I do tend to hold these silver rings, just it saves changing time, shortening the straps. But if you need to, you can always hold your little ones. All right, so I've gone crossover row. Now I can go palms down, elbows wide. So we're doing a wide grip there. Or I can go palms in, elbows stay in, and do a narrow grip. So I still want to focus that the work is coming between my shoulder blades. Uncross those straps again. Go back to the little ones. Very similar to the first one, but chest expansion changes your breath pattern and gets you to turn your head. So it's inhale to press back. You hold the breath, turn the head side, side, and release. And again, inhale, press back, hold the breath, turn to the side, side, exhale. Really focusing on opening up your chest through that one. Final one is bicep curls. Now I do tend to go a little bit lighter with my bicep curls, only because I want to keep my arms up. So rather than letting my arms drop down for my bicep curls, I want to try and keep them up and work from there. So ideally the elbow shouldn't drop low. So I'm on a blue spring here. Can be done on a green, but I just don't want you gripping and tensing through the shoulders. Can also be done lower, so that will give you a little bit more, make it a little bit easier. If you need to, just sit lower to get that range. But goal, try and keep those elbows up the whole time. So now we'll turn into kneeling arms facing the side. Again here, you may have to go lighter, so it'll either be a blue or a yellow. And because we're going to do a lot of rotator cuffs. So starting with your small strap, you can hold it like a fist. I tend to wrap it around the outside of my arm. And then from here, we are going into external rotation. So the elbow stays glued to the body as we rotate. So it's just the upper arm and the shoulder. So hopefully you're feeling this at the back of your left shoulder. Try not to let the body rotate with it. Good. From here we move into pulling sword. So again, pulling sword, no movement through the torso. You lead with the elbow, so lead with the elbow, strike through the arm. Try not to let that elbow drop down, so as you lead And then if you get to there, try not to drop it down before you pull. So I want that elbow staying up, so you're getting that nice high angle. So your Travolta, so the difference with these two is now you can add rotation. So I turn, I'm looking towards the headpiece, now I draw back, and I'm looking over my shoulder. And if it helps, you can point your finger to get that bit of a Travolta action. So we've done all of the one, oh, we've got one more on this side, which is, some of you may struggle with this in terms of your tightness on the side of your waist. So you move a little bit further to the edge of the carriage, still in the same hand. I'm now leaning down on the shoulder pad, arm is over my head, and I'm going to extend up. Try and keep the upper arm where it is. It's just the elbow bending and straightening. So it is a tricep exercise, but I'm actually feeling really tight on the side of my waist, so that's okay. Just work on getting that stretch as well as the tricep extension. And then to finish with the inside arm, so you may want to break these down and not do them all in a row, otherwise your arm will probably die, is to finish with goalposts. So I'm going to imagine that my forearm is vertical, and I'm going to try and keep it vertical, and as if I'm sliding up the wall as I reach up. Now engage from the bottom of the shoulder, the serratus, as you draw down. Good. All right. From here, there's a lot to get through. That's why I'm trying to push them out quite fast and not do too many reps for you. Is going into your mermaid. So this is the stretch that you're going to get. Ideally, legs in a Z sit with your shin touching the shoulder pads. Now, if some of you instantly feel like pain in this hip, what I want you to do, either try and grab a hand towel or something, pop it underneath the left hip, so that's going to even out your pelvis. If not, cross-legged is fine, and so it's just letting your legs dangle, because the main goal is to stretch the side of the torso. And if you're really tall, this is where you probably want to bring your bar back in to that standard position. So probably the 5. Even if you do have longer torsos and arms, with these ones tend to bring the bar back in. Hand is slightly forward of the shoulder. We're going to do a gentle press out as you reach up and over. Inhale as you come back and over. Now, the goal is to stretch this side of the body. Just be mindful that this shoulder isn't creeping up near your ear. So you do have to draw it down, soft elbow in that arm as well. And then we come up. And then you can also add a rotation here, so we can come up and over. We hold, take a breath in. Now thread the needle, bring the arm forward, and now make it the ribs and the spine that rotate as your eye gaze and hand comes towards the spring. Inhale as you unravel, and then all the way up. And of course we do both sides. So now we're going to move into some weight bearing exercises. Putting the bar down, so grab both clips, bar lowers down. I'm not going to use the sticky mat. The sticky mat you can use if you feel like you slide, if you've got moisturiser on, or your tights are quite slippery. So we're going into quadruped. I'm going to do it with one balloon, and I'm kneeling. Alrighty. So knees under hips, hands under shoulders, and we're in our weight bearing position. Eye gaze is out a little bit further in front of us. The one thing I don't want to see is the shoulder blades winging. So when we're lazy and they poke out the back. So really feel like you push downwards with your hands and you lift up. Not around it, you're lifting, Imagine you're pressing the floor away from you. Good. So you've lengthened through the tailbone and the crown of the head. Now, from here, we're going to just move the shoulders. So keeping the spine nice and stable, the shoulders will press back. The body moves, but you only go as far as you can without losing your neutral spine. And then you draw it back in. So again, pressing out. And then back in. So that's your shoulder flexion and extension. Now you have hip flexion and extension. The shoulders remain still. The knees push the bed back. And then the knees draw the carriage in. Again, you only go as far as you can without losing your neutral spine. And then return. Combination is now arms and legs. Make sure you can have a clear distinction between each though. So shoulders first, hold, then legs second, shoulders first, then legs. So it really doesn't matter what order you do this in, just make sure you have a clear distinction of which body part is moving and that you can maintain neutral spine. All right. So while I'm still down here, we'll do reverse abdominals. I'm going to keep it on one blue. Lighter is easier, heavier is harder on this one. We turn around. Again, shoulder, fist width gap between the knees and the shoulder pads. Come down to your quadruped position again, and then take another hand step forward. Bring the body forward so that you're in more of a parallelogram. And again, you're pushing the ground away from you, so your chest is lifted. We take a breath in, exhale as you draw the knees under the hips. And then inhale back. Our goal is to work the lower abs, but without rounding, so I don't want to see that. I want you to stay in a neutral position. All right, from here, bar now comes back up. So I'm bringing it back to where the arrow is at the red medium. And we're going to take it into our wheelbarrow that we've been working on. So start with a green and then move down to lighter on a blue. Your feet are just against the shoulder pads. We want to come to that kneeling plank position. So you want to extend the hips so that your body's in like a diagonal line. Now from here, you hold that position. It's just from your shoulders as you hinge back to the point where you find the challenge, and then come forward and back. So if you want more of a challenge with this, go lighter. You can do it on a yellow. It is going to be challenging. Make sure it's not going into your neck and shoulders though, or into your lower back. It should be about the core. You will feel a little bit through like your arms working just to stabilize, but hopefully not right up into your neck and shoulders. All right, progressing now into elephant. So one green spring. Standing in the middle of your carriage. Oh, I chopped my head off. You know what I look like, it's fine. So hands on the bar. Around the spine. And I want you to be in a deep C curve. So from here, hold the C curve. Now it's inhale as your legs push back. Exhale as your abs draw in. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Now, it is a small movement, but hopefully you might get a stretch through your lower back, your glutes, anywhere down the back of your legs. But I really want you to work on the exhale and contracting through your lower abs in that position. As we progress now into our long stretch series, so we're going to have quite a few here. Inverted V, which is pike, long stretch, which is rocket, into arabesque and jackrabbit.
So heels are now up. So we're going to find our best possible pike position. And from pike, we start to push the bed back. We hinge at the shoulders. As we move forward into a plank position, stay strong across the shoulders. Feel like you're pushing the bar away from you. And then from here, you're going to come back up into a pike. And then back out into your plank. Now we're going to hold plank, and this is where it's now long stretch or rocket. You're going to push back, and then you're going to come forward. So now you're staying in plank, and you're just hinging at the shoulders. And then you finish off by moving back to pike. As we go into arabesque, so arabesque, we're going to extend one leg up and away from it. So I'm going to just take it behind the shoulder pad. I'm starting my plank. Now from plank, it's as I go back to pike, the leg extends up. As I move back to plank, the leg comes down. Then the leg goes up. Try and get that carriage all the way in, and then back down, and then finish with pike, and then you would do your other side. Last series here is going to be jackrabbit. So from here, we're going to come into our plank position. We're going to hold the plank position, keeping the body where it is. We come in and out. Come back to pike, and then you can step down. Give your wrists a little roll because there is quite a lot of work on your wrists. All right, so we'll go through your standing glute work, which is scooter to begin with. So I'll do it on this side so you can see my foot position. I want to set that one foot is against the shoulder pads, and then the thighs are level. So that will determine where you put your standing foot, as long as your thighs are level. Hands on the bar to start with. Feel like your tailbone is sticking out, slight knee bend in this standing leg. My weight is focusing on this standing heel so that I can get the work through my standing glute. Now I've got it on one green to start off with, and then I'm going to press back. If I feel steady, then I can bring one hand up. Then I can bring both hands up. And then if I want to add more, I go into the opposite arm and leg. Focus on the knee alignment, that the knee, your standing knee, is not falling inwards. Now, one green, otherwise changing it to one blue. I actually like to do probably a set on each, so challenging it, because the lighter is actually more challenging for your stability on your standing leg. So it's not about the heavy work on the pushing leg, it's about the standing leg there. All right, as we progress now to standing side splits, bar comes down again. Option here, if you don't have sticky socks, use your sticky mat, or I would just say go no socks. So we're going to stand, remember one green spring to start off with, if you want more. So the lighter the spring here is going to work your inner thighs, your adductors. The heavier the spring is going to work your outer thighs. You choose what you want to work with. So if I start on a blue, and I've chopped my head off again, good work. All right, and pressing out. So the blue allows me to open quite far, but I need to have that control and I need to have the strength to draw back in. So that's your option. You can use your hands as well and then come back. Now, green. Green is going to go heavier. So you should be able to see a difference here. I can't open as far. I can already feel the work now coming into the side of my bum, and then I come back in. So I never want the knees completely locked or hyperextended. Have a soft or just an unlock position through them. So we've got straight legs, open and close. Now we come into skater squat. So we're going to come into a squat. This left leg is not going to move. It's just the right leg. Then from there, my work is actually focusing on stabilizing through the standing leg. And you will get a little bit of work because you're pushing out into abduction against resistance. If you want more on that one, tend to go even add a yellow or a blue. So you can normally go heavier on your skater squats. All right, bringing the bar back up now. From here, we'll go into our standing hip stretch. So once again, set up that your foot is against the shoulder pad, your thighs are level, hands are on the bar. First one is going to be the hamstring. So remember, I am quite flexible, that you open the legs and you press back to where you can keep your legs straight and your hips square. So this will be now stretching the back of this front leg, your hamstring. Hold. Now we come into a lunge. We're going to bend the front leg. We're going to lunge the hip, and hopefully we're stretching now through the front of your hip flexor. And then you can come all the way up. So it is nice to do both, that you go through a sequence, straight legs, hamstring stretch, and then we lunge for a hip flexor stretch, and then come all the way back up. Good. Now, from here, we'll go into our Russian splits. Now, I am naughty, I didn't get a dowel, so I'll get a dowel. I'm going to chop my head off, aren't I? For sure.